I just so happen to have two asymmetrical boards here in Costa Rica with asymmetrical fin setup. So the board I'm holding in my hands has an asymmetrical fin setup. I'll show you the fins for that. And it has an asymmetrical outline. You see the nose. The board right behind me is a symmetrical board with an asymmetrical fin setup. These boards are expert only, advanced the way that they're shaped, super thin, super sensitive. I would say intermediate, 2.0, 3.0, you can start experiment with Asyms. There's literally no performance upshot for anybody under that level to do asymmetrical boards. So the board is symmetrical. This is 5'3", double wing swallow, crazy double concave out of the tail. So this is the asymmetrical fin setup. This is the toe side. I'm a goofy foot, so if you're regular foot, you just flip it. So this side is for the keel, which you would have on a keel fish, big toe side. Your toes have more flex than your heel, so you can hold the rail line longer with the larger fin here. It's very fast, very responsive, and it has actually really good hold because of how thin the rails are. It can get a little squirrely in large surf. Hard to paddle because it's, I don't know the volume on it, but it would be low volume with it being that thin. So these are the quads that you'd have on the heel side. You would just want to have a set, assuming if you're surfing asymmetrical boards, you also have a quad somewhere in your quiver. Here we have the front one. It's always just going to lock in like that. I'm not going to lock it in right away. The little smaller one goes here. And then you got your toe side. And I have a couple of different options for the toe side. We have a more standard straight up fin. This one's by Album. Comes in an Asym set since Album Surfboards makes a lot of Asym boards. Straight up, super large Almeric keel, which I've talked about in other videos, why you would pick this one. And then the all-around Futures K2 keel. Just stick it in like that. Remember, the fins go that way, and you want this flatter part facing this way that's going to funnel all the water. General concept, the larger fin, larger area has more hold. The medium one has decent hold and decent release. You go smaller, less hold, more release, more squirty. This board does sit, again, more in the water than the epoxy. So I feel that the boards are a similar volume, but I can feel this board like in the turns where the epoxy board, that Barahona shape, sits on top of the water. This is a 5'4" Barahona asymmetrical epoxy. So the rail line starts down there at the bottom and then comes up around like this, and then it's shorter here. Again, this has to do with the toe versus heel flex. So we got the same fin set up. For whatever reason, this board actually does like the upright fin better than the keels, but you could go keel or you could go keel. This board, I'm going to be honest, it's not my favorite surfboard. It didn't end up being a magic board. I've done some cool things on it, but sitting on top of the water, and there's just something about the way the shape came out, and this has nothing to do with whether it's Asym or whatever. Not all boards can be magic. I have to push a little harder for the board to respond. It will respond. It has kind of like a bouncy, fun feeling to it. But honestly, in the case of this surfboard, there's no real upshots to the epoxy in this particular board. Why you would want lightness at all is just the responsiveness that when you press, it does the thing that you're trying to do when you add the weight. Thank you so much. Like, subscribe. Love you forever if you like and subscribe. Watch my other videos, that's really cool. And if you want to know more about coaching and all things that I do, just go over to my website. Everything lives there. Archives of these videos live there. Get over there.